Hi, Farmer Dean here, and I'm picking tomatoes so that I can can. And I'll need about two, I want to do 2 batches. So what I have here is when I fill these containers, I have about 1 batch. So I have my 2 containers, so I've got 14 quarts of processed tomatoes here when I get ready to process them all. Farmer Dean here, and how to can tomatoes. There's 2 types of way to can them, and I'm going to show them both in this video. But if you're the first time canner, you need this book, okay? You've got to get it because it explains everything very well in there. So the tools to can: you need a funnel, you need a ladle, and you need to buy one of these so you don't burn your little hands off, okay? So those are the tools, along with a deep dish pot of some sort or another, okay? And we'll explain why you need that a little later. But those are the tools you need. I am going to show you how to can in a pressure cooker to start with, and then we're going to show you how to can tomatoes in a water bath method if you don't have a pressure cooker. So we got 2 methods we're going to do today. Going to be a little longer video, but you'll enjoy it. Okay, this is the cold method of canning tomatoes. Rather than putting them in, boiling them, and then putting them in a jar, and then putting them in the pressure cooker, Ball says you can can them cold. Okay, so that's what we're going to do, is can them cold. So what we have to do is, we've got really nice ripe tomatoes. Now everybody can't, if you're buying tomatoes, every once in a while you get one that's got a bad spot. You can see that that's starting to rot just a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut way around that and make sure that we get all that rotten spot out of there, because we don't want any rotten tomatoes in there. The other thing is, we're going to take and peel that off. Now, here's the hack I'm going to give you. They tell you to boil parboil these. In other words, you stick them in hot water, you make an X on top, stick them in hot water, and then you can pull off the skin, okay? I don't pull off the skin. Why do I need to do that? I love the skin. So I do everything with the skin on and save 30% of your canning time. So here's what I do. I just cut a little bit, nice hunks. This is a big tomato. So normally what I do is cut it in half and then go like this. So I'm trying to cut it in fairly decent sized chunks to put in there. So here's another hack. Make sure you got a damn good sharp knife, because you need it, I guarantee it. So you want to make sure that anything that's on the skin, like that little piece right there, you want to take it off. You want to cut out the center. You don't want any of that black stuff in there when you're leaving the skins on. So you want a really nice tomato. So I got my jar pretty well filled up, and I'm just going to squish that down a little bit. And then what I'm going to also do is I've taken pureed tomato. So and the reason why I'm doing this is I don't want any air in there. So I'm going to put just a little bit of juice in. And then I'm going to take and just get all the air bubbles out by pushing this all the way around. I want that juice to take up all of those vacant spots. Yes, if you've been cooking with a pressure cooker, you know why. Otherwise, it'll suck out all the juice on us. By the way, all the jars have been sterilized. I put them in water. I put them in the wash machine, the dishwasher. Then I put them in water and a water bath and cook them for a little bit just to sterilize them, because when you're filling your jars, you want them clean. So one of the things, you can put salt in if you want to. I don't, but one of the things you definitely need is a tablespoon of lemon juice in each quart, and that'll keep the color so they stay that nice dark red. So I have our jars. I'm going to clean off the top so we get a really good seal. I want to make sure that every jar is clean and we don't have any residue left on them from the tomatoes, packing the tomatoes. So a tool I forgot to tell you about is you need a set of tongs. And what I've done is I've got some boiling water here. It's not boiling right now, but it will be shortly, but it's really hot. And I like to just get that seal right here softened up, so when I put the ring on, it tightens down really nice. So I'm going to put the lid on my can here, my pressure cooker I should say. So I'm putting the pressure cooker lid on, closing it up tight, and we're going to wait for the steam to come out of there. And when it does, we're going to put on this jiggly thing, and we're going to time this for 25 minutes after it starts jiggling. So that's what's nice about a pressure cooker. Once you're done, you're done. So you can see that the steam's coming out. If you look real close, you can see the steam. I'm going to put this on here, and then when it starts jiggling, I'll start the timer. At the pressure we need to cook, and my thingamajig is doing its thing to keep the pressure at the same amount so it doesn't get too hot and blow the lid off. So the second method is called water bath method. That's if you don't have a pressure cooker like I do. You can hear the pressure in the background there. So we're doing 2 batches. So this is going to be how you do it. And also, if you don't like the skin, I'm going to show you how to do the skin, take the skin off at the same time. So I'm putting in tomatoes in boiling water, and I'm going to leave them in here for about 30 seconds or so, and it'll help the skins come off. Now, some people, what they do, if I can find my knife. Some people, what they do, before they put their tomatoes in, they make a cross on the top, and then that helps them peel the tomato off better. So, and then after you get through in the hot water, you got to plunge them in an ice bath. Okay? And you're going to work in small batches. It's hard, so I'm going to clean the tomato. And let's see how the skin peeled off, whether I left it in there long enough. The skin should come right off for us. There we go. Again, that sharp knife helps. Didn't leave it in quite long enough. As you can see, it should come off in little bigger hunks. Hard peeling up above. So again, I've packed my tomatoes in there tight. Okay, so I put in my puree tomatoes, okay, and then I'm going to take out all the air bubbles, because you got to make sure you get those air bubbles out, otherwise it'll act as a siphon, and you don't want to siphon out all your juice. So that's what I'm doing with this, okay. So I got it filled up now. I'm going to put my lemon juice in here. If you want, 2 tablespoons by the way. If you want, you can put your salt in now. I don't salt anything. I wait until I use the product, use the tomatoes. I wait until I use the tomatoes, then I put my salt and pepper on. From the top, that's what you want to leave it about a half inch. You clean off the whole thing around again, just like we did last time, if you're watching the whole video. And then so put this in hot water, the top, just to get that a little, loosen the wrap, get that seal so it's warm. Put that on. Screw it on top. You're going to screw down there hand tight. Once it's hand tight, you're done. And then we're going to put it in our water bath. Being that I cold packed it, It's going to take us about 85 minutes in the water bath. It's got to be at least an inch or 2 inches, the water does, above the top. So let's say you don't have a big pan like I do. Do in pints so that you can use something that you have in your house so you don't have to go out and buy a big pan if you don't want to. So I'm taking off the lid off this. And believe it or not, this is my mother's, so it's got to be over 70 years old. It was made by a company out of Sparta, Michigan. It's called McDonald's. You can't buy them anymore, of course, but you can still buy the parts for them. So if you find one, grab a hold of it. It's a great buy and a great way to do tomatoes and corn and anything that needs to be put in a pressure cooker. So, remember that handy tool I showed you? Here's why you need it. Bring those out. Set them down. So you'll know when they seal, when the top pops and it's got a little, it's ball and it's got, oh, there, hear it? That's sealed. That one's sealed. That one's already down. That one's down. That one's down. So right now I only have one that didn't seal. There we go. It's sealed. Ha! How about that? So they're all sealed. I don't have to redo them again in the bath water or use them right away, put them in the refrigerator. You can do that too. Look at this. You can see that I don't have quite an inch of water above. So I'm just going to put at least another quart in here, and I'll watch it as it's cooking, because if the water gets too low, you have to add some water to it. So in the hot water bath, being that they're cold, 85 minutes and you're done. So once it starts boiling again, I'll turn it down to a low temperature and just let it cook. I'm telling you, OMGs, am I gonna love these this winter. And we're just gonna take them out of here. OMGs, it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, when wintertime comes, it'll be well worth it, because I know I've got tomatoes that have no artificial flavoring in them, no natural flavoring, no pesticides, herbicides, any of that stuff. I know I got really good organic tomatoes.